Hello, Kev the Care Home Singer, back with you again for part 2 of Forgotten Things. I'm going to take you around and basically I'm back at Beamish Museum again. I live about 10 minutes away from it, and I did keep looking around the northeast for things while I'm driving around doing shows at care homes, but each time it brings me back to here because they've just recreated so many things I can share with you. For people in the northeast, we maybe take the place for granted, but at least I can use it to share for people who live in different parts of the country or even different parts of the world, as I'm finding out. So let's have a quick look around. Can you remember these things from yesterday? Now, it's incredibly difficult to understand in this day and age that once upon a time you were rewarded for smoking. Yes, rewarded. You got gift vouchers. What could you do with the gift vouchers? Well, we're going to take a look and I'm going to let you see just how attractive these things were. So the pressure we put on our parents and grandparents back in the day was to smoke more, wasn't it? Smoke more so I can get a toy. Or your mum and dad wanted to smoke more so they could get a fridge freezer or a toaster. How many sort of things? If you know any, mention them in the comments. But let's go down and have a look at the shop and see just what sort of things you could get with embassy coupons. Yak. Let's take a walk down to a typical type of shelf, what you would see in the embassy catalogues. Oh, well, that's a nice car, isn't it? Not sure what make it is. It's called Margaret, the Austin A35. There you go. Right, so let's talk about these embassy coupons, eh? I always remember me mum, she smoked like a chimney. So did me dad. And they would stick with embassy because of the coupons. Doesn't matter if they like the cigarette or not, they just stuck with embassy. What sort of things could you get? Tupperware, toys for the kids, things for the house, blankets, but also some white goods. I'm going to take a look now in a very retro shop here at Beamish Museum at some of the white goods you might have got. Strange, I tell you. Wait till you have a look at this. But of course, we all wanted our mum and dad to smoke more, so we could get the toys. And that's the type of toys we would have got. Smoke as many cigarettes as you can, and Kev will have a scooter. Make no mistake about it. We did put the pressure on. That's true. If memory serves me right, this started out as just a little bit of Tupperware or similar things to that. Maybe a toaster, a kettle. That was even getting ambitious. But then they knew, let's play on the kids. Let's get some toys involved. Let's really go for it. Let's really pressurize these adults. And it did happen. There's no two ways about it. You know, eventually it went on to cookers and washing machines, you name it. But these people knew what they were doing. It was a very clever game what they played. And people's health was often the price. So if the embassy coupons weren't bad enough, what about the kids' version? We had candy cigarettes. And they had little cards in, didn't they? Thunderbirds and stuff like that, and football cards of all the players. That's basically training you to smoke for when you're older, isn't it? It was even on the front of the box, just like Daddy. Now that's bad, isn't it? So they'd get you into the cigarettes, wouldn't they? By getting you to smoke candy tabs, as they were called. Candy cigarettes. You could even get the shredded stuff so it looked like tobacco. And it had a little bit of a powder in what gave off a smoke. They weren't daft, were they? These people definitely weren't daft. They knew what they were doing. All part of a game. Another example of cigarette advertising. And another one. How times have changed, eh? For the better, I think. Let me know your thoughts, of course. You might think differently. And as you can see here, in the 1960s and the 1970s, sweet cigarettes in the UK frequently included collectible trading cards inside the boxes. This was all done to mimic a real adult cigarette packet. For children of that era, collecting the full set of sweet cigarette cards was often the main reason to buy the sweets. Alongside the cigarettes, young kids would also buy sweet tobacco. It was like a shredded coconut dusted in cocoa powder, and it was packaged in small pouches to look just like tobacco. Just while I'm moving around this town, here's a little fact for you. Did you know Green Shield stamps later became this in 1974? All aboard for the Seaside, everyone! Who remembers the community trips to the seaside? Kids with the buckets and spades all excited. They're going to catch a fish, they're going to build a sand castle. Mums, well, we know where they want to go. Straight to the bingo.
Number 7, lucky 7. Number 28, 2 and 8, 28. Number 5, 3 of 5, 35.
Dads, well, while you're at the bingo, I'll just pop to the pub. They would always do that, wouldn't they? But never mind, it's good fun. We all enjoyed it. But let's have a look around the beach now, because this is South Shields Beach in the northeast. And I'll just spin it around and let you see it. Going back to the days, I have memories of this just being absolutely covered with deck chairs. Little tents as well. I can't remember what the tents were, but I think they were for getting changed in. They were just like head height or something, you know what I mean? I'll see if I can get a picture of one, I'll bring it up. But this is South Shields Beach. There's a tractor man getting ready to level it all off. Looks like he's done it really, hasn't he? There's people swimming in the sea. It's not that warm today, mind. But yeah, I have great memories of this place. It was always deck chairs, lines and lines of them everywhere. And of course, fish and chips always tasted better when you were on the beach. And who could forget the donkey rides? Me personally, I never went on one. I never felt right somehow. I used to think I'd just roll off. So let me know your favourite memories of going to the seaside. Did you go with the community centre? Was it the factory that organised it? For me, it was the factory. It was a factory called the ROF, the Royal Ordnance Factory in Birtley, where I live. And they would arrange it. And it was just great times. You know what I mean? You got up with a bit of mischief as you do, but you played a bit of football on the beach, swim in the sea, of course, try and catch a fish with your net, build sand castles, see who could build the best one. Let me know what you did. But they were great times. Proper community memories, that's for sure. Just for the record, over there is the other side of the River Tyne. That's Tynemouth. And you can see the Tynemouth Priory possibly in the distance. The lighthouses, the DFDS, I'll say that again, DFDS Seaways ferry comes from here to Holland. Tea time every day, 7 days a week, has done for many years. I remember presenting the DFDS Seaways Stars in Their Eyes final many, many years ago as a budding entertainer. Great times. And of course, the fairground in the distance. You had to go there as well, didn't you? You had to go on the waltzer and try to pretend to the girls that you didn't really need to hold on. You were brave, when really you were absolutely terrified.
Come on, hurry up, line up. Good morning, boys and girls.
So what they've done in Beamish, they've recreated a very, very old school from probably the 1950s or something like that. And it's really good, and it's noisy sometimes when a bus goes past. But let's have a look in, because who remembers the slogan? Thatcher, Thatcher, milk snatcher. What was all that about? I'm going to tell you, but let's have a look around the school first and see what you think. School milk was often delivered in small, third of a pint size glass bottles, sealed with cardboard or foil caps. Now, the weather was the biggest issue, because schools didn't really have anything like a refrigerator back then. So the milk was heavily subjected to the elements. In the winter, it would freeze. In the summer, it turned sour. Then it came to an end. Shortly after 1971, the then Education Secretary, Margaret Thatcher, ended it for primary school children aged over 7. The controversial move that earned her a lasting nickname, Thatcher, the Milk Snatcher. Before we bring this one to an end, I want to tell you a little bit about the next one. But in the meantime, I just want to say thank you very much for all the ideas. I've got them all still stored, and this series isn't finished. But I'm just going to put it to one side for a 2 or 3 week period. I've got a lot going on. Firstly, I just want to say a massive thank you to everybody who voted for me for the Gated Musician of the Year award. In a population of over 200,000 people. I nearly fell off my chair when my name came out at the Marriott Hotel last week. I really did, honestly. I just couldn't believe it. Almost a week later, still hasn't sunk in. It's just been one of them things. It's been a great year for me, getting the hip surgery and things like that. Being able to do a little bit more. But that just put the icing on the cake. So I just want to say thank you very much, because the competition was really, really high when I heard people's names over the weeks. Then I went to the last 3, and then we went to the Marriott Hotel, had a few beers, and then a few more once my name came out. But thank you very much. Keep the ideas coming, because I'm loving doing these. They're good fun. I've got about 30 ideas from friends and family written down, but sometimes it's hard finding the footage to make it interesting, or creating footage. I know they've got AI, and I do use it a little bit, but it's nice to get the real thing, isn't it? But anyway, keep them coming. But the next up, I've got some really good ideas for a totally different type of theme. Do you remember the old TV sets? Did your TV have to warm up? Yeah, I remember as a kid in the 60s, our TV had to warm up. And then when you turned it off, there was a dot. And sometimes you wouldn't go to bed till you saw the dot go out. That could take about a minute. It seemed like hours, didn't it? But what sort of programs did we have? Let's have a look at some of them. And that's what I'll be looking at on the next one. Programs like this. Do you remember Z Cars? Yeah, I do as well. I remember it very well. We used to watch it. Now, what sort of crimes did they have to put up with then? It does make you wonder, doesn't it? 60 years on, I think the crimes are a bit different now, aren't they? Hell of a lot different. Hello, officer. I'd like to report a crime. What a programme, isn't it? It was amazing. Not forgetting, of course, on the buses. And of course, when did Emmerdale Farm start? Who could ever forget it? It's called Emmerdale now, but for me, it'll always be Emmerdale Farm. And we'll even include that one with the cobbled streets. When did that start? We'll get some little snippets from that one. I'm only allowed to use little bits for copyright, that's fine. But we'll do it. We'll have a look at some of those programs, especially Z Cars. I was a big fan of that when I was a kid.